cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and power back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.
From Your Black World, the Black Business School. And I want to say welcome, everybody. Welcome to drboycetv.com. drboycetv.com is the home for intelligent black people. So if you're not black and intelligent, you may want to get the fuck out. This is not the place for you. Ignorance is not allowed here unless you're deliberately ignorant and just having a little bit of fun. For the most part, we like to be smart. We like to make our lives better. We like to make our community better. So if that's who you are, if that's what you believe in, then this is your place to be. Everybody shout out if you also agree with me that we put black people first. Black people are the most important people in our world and in any other world that we care about. And if you believe that black people should be first, if you believe that the black community matters more than any other community, then please type your B1 in the chat. Use hashtag B1. B1 is how we identify each other as people that really care about improving our community, improving our people. Do me a favor, hold on guys, give me a second. Let's see here. Can you guys hear me? Can you give me a yes or no if you can see me and hear me? I see you, Claudine. How you doing? Give me a yes or no if you can see me and hear me. Somebody said they couldn't hear me, so I want to make sure we're good. What's up on Instagram? My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, so if you want to follow on Instagram, feel free to do that. And okay, I see Denise and Conscious Ether and Kenneth and I see a whole lot. The names are flying by so fast I can't keep up with everybody, but I love every single one of you and I appreciate you very, very much, and I want to thank you so much for hearing me out on this. I'm going to break some things down. Now, yes or no question for the Council of Intelligent Black People. I'd like to ask you a question. Give me a yes or no in the chat. How many of you have seen a show on Netflix or heard of the show called Black AF? It's called Black AF. That's the hashtag. And Larry Hurt's already saying he hates this show with a passion. Okay, all right. Well, why don't you tell us what you really think? All right, so tell me if you've seen the show Black AF on Netflix. Alicia and I were watching it. We were watching it with the kids, and you know, it was by the brother of what's the brother's name? The writer. Man, somebody help me. Burris. I think it's Burris or something. Let me see here. His name was Kenya Barris. And Kenya Barris, I don't know this brother, but I know he's paid. He's paid. He got a big deal from Netflix. I think he got a bunch of money. Let's see, I think he got $100 million deal. I don't know how many years that is, but even if it's 100 years, he's still doing pretty good, right? He's doing well in the era of all the viruses popping around and everything else. Yeah, it's a 2-year deal. Okay, wait. Oh, it carries an option for another 2 years for roughly $100 million or something. I don't know, man. I don't know about these deals, but I know white folks pay good, and that's good for him. Good for him. I hope that he is enjoying that money. He deserves it. You know, he works hard. He seems to be good at what he does. So let me kind of give you a quick breakdown. Please hit that thumbs up button. Everybody right now, please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. That really helps us in the algorithm and stuff like that. Because we ain't Netflix. We ain't, you know, we ain't got Netflix money. We got YouTube money. So if y'all can help us out, we'd appreciate it. All right, so let's start here. I want to ask you guys this question. Do you like the show or not? Do you like it? Give me a yes if you like the show, and give me a no if you don't. Give me a yes if you like the show. Give me a no if you don't like the show. What's up, Maurice? Mr. Green, M. Green. Maurice, I think, is that your first name? Anyway, Green. Dr. Green. I know he's a professor. Okay, I'm seeing no's. Damn. Woof. Juna says no. Lisa says no. Okay, Squeen Rob says yes. Okay, Adam, Admin, the Inkwell says yes. Kelvin, yes. Joseph Poe, yes. For Culture 3 says yes. MS Dot says yes, it was clever. Okay, Dr. Green says no. What show? It's called Black AF. Black AF. It's on Netflix. Wow, this is interesting. I think I want to do a survey. I'm going to do a survey and get some data on this because I'm trying to really get a sense of how people feel about it. So let me tell you how I feel about it and what I think. All right, so here's the deal. I've seen Kenya's work. You know, I think Blackish, as far as TV shows go, you know, it's a solid show. You know, I think, you know, and it seems like they rode the wave. You know, I think he had Blackish, then he did Mixedish, then he did Grownish. And I think that he did it, you know, he did the shows in a way that I thought were, it's not that, like, if I'm thinking about shit that I'm pissed off about and annoyed with, it's not anywhere at the top of that list. You know, sometimes you watch stuff, you know, black stuff on TV and you start rolling your eyes like, oh, Lord, here we go. But I think he did fine. You know, I don't have any issue with that. And so he goes to Netflix and he creates a show called Black AF. And that's the hashtag. And I was like, okay, all right, let's see what this is about. So Alicia and I watched the show, and you know, when we don't watch shows like regular people, you know, she has a PhD, she's very smart, and she's also an expert on the subconscious mind, which means that, you know, like she's gonna analyze the shit out of everything and understand it. But we know how to laugh, you know, we know when not to be so serious. So we laugh, but we see it all. We, you know, she has a third and a fourth eye when it comes to all this stuff, and so we watched the show, and I'm gonna tell you, we liked a lot of the show. You know, like I think if you watch it, you know, like it's entertaining, like it's well done, the writing's solid, it's good. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the areas where you could criticize the show extensively. And I will say this, I understand those of you who don't like it, I totally get it. I totally get those of you who don't like it. You know, I can understand exactly why. You know, I think just now the kids were upstairs watching, and there's one scene where it's like some old raunchy ass hip hop music. You know, if you a big booty hoe, then you gonna suck her. You know what I mean? Like just real raunchy hip hop music. And it's not so much that I think that we should police the language people use. I think that what kind of gets me a little bit sometimes is, as a person who really loves hip hop music, I don't feel entirely comfortable when the vast majority of blackness is defined by hip hop. Especially when you're talking about, you know, hip hop that we know is a blueprint for black self-destruction. You know, especially when you talk about hip hop that we know is from people like Dr. Claude Anderson, God bless him, who teaches us that this is an extension, this is nothing more than a modern day version of a minstrel show. You know, when you talk about hip hop, you know, you're not really talking, you can't put all hip hop in a box. Just like black churches, you can't talk about every church in one sentence because they're all different. Well, hip hop is the same way. You got rappers on different ends of the spectrum, and y'all know you got some rappers that might as well be motherfucking CIA agents because they were planted to destroy the black community. They were planted to make you think that you ain't nothing but a raggedy hoe or a gun-toting Negro who wants to go kill another black man and pop a molly on your way to do the drive-by when you gonna get some girl pregnant and give her an STD and drink yourself into a grave, right? Like you know, and you dripping in Gucci the whole time, right? Like this stuff is fascinating to me because that's not really black culture at all. That's not black culture. But what happens is that we end up thinking that that's black culture because white folks that control the media have convinced you that that's black culture. They have mass marketed your culture to you. They have, just like a parent, if a parent can have the most brilliant child in the world. Imagine a parent who has a child who is a young Einstein, and from the time that child is a baby, the mother stands over the child and says, "You's a dumb motherfucker. You's a stupid nigga. You so stupid. You so stupid. And you ugly. You are so ugly." Is that child going to grow up thinking that they're brilliant and beautiful? Or are they going to grow up thinking that they're stupid and ugly? So for black folks, much of your education, when you're born in this cage of white supremacy or whatever it is, you're almost like a gorilla that's raised in the zoo. Like you're almost like an animal that's raised in the zoo. And you think that you have all this free will, but that free will was taken from you before you were born because the free will belongs to the person who designed the cage. So everything that you think that you're choosing to do, somebody else put something in you. They programmed you. That's why they call it TV programming. right? Academic programs, educational system programming, that somebody programmed you to think that you were exercising free will when really you're exercising his will, right? And so for black folks, you know, a lot of times when you use a term like I'm gonna be black as fuck, like I get it, bro. I'm like, okay, he's a black man. He's like, man, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna, you know, pull out my Superman vest. I'm gonna be black as fuck, right? Well, what does black as fuck mean to you? You know, does it mean, you know, does it say Marcus Garvey? I'd say Marcus Garvey was black AF. Does it say Malcolm X? Does it say, you know, Build Empire? Does it say Dr. Claude Anderson? Or does it say 2 Chainz and, you know, popping mollies and booty shaking hip hop and barbecue chicken? What does black AF say to you? AF, what does that mean to you? Right? So, you know, when you get a guy like a Kenya Barris or whomever, and there's no disrespect to him at all, I think that he's a great writer. I mean, clearly, he makes more money than all of us, so clearly he's doing something that's appeasing the white folks that are paying his bills. But so God bless him, respect to him. But, you know, as we congratulate him on his success, I think that we can also temper that by sort of looking at the nuances of asking, you know, why is he successful? Why do you have, you know, black folks, not just him, it's not just about Kenya, so let's not make it about him, but why do you have the elevated black folks that you look up to and admire, and you define them as successful black people, when really, I mean, keeping it 100, you could argue that they are pretty much just the chosen Negroes. You know, these are the black folks that were chosen by Netflix to put, you know, a bunch of money in their pocket, to, you know, create shows and to do what they do, and they're all good at what they do, but there are other people out here that are just as good who will never see that, you know, $50 million, $100 million Netflix check, right? We know this. We know that this happens, right? It reminds me of like when Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle and Tracy Morgan were all on Saturday Night Live, and they were all talking about their Netflix deals, and you see that part where they were like, thanks, Netflix, right? And really, when you really think about it, you know, pay attention now. Eddie Murphy, as brilliant as the guy is, it took me a long time to realize, wait a minute, Eddie Murphy built most of his career by basically performing black stereotypes in front of white people. He's done some great work now, mind you. You know, I thought Coming to America was amazing. Harlem Nights was beautiful. Eddie himself is a treasure, a national treasure. But you watch stuff like, you know, Buckwheat. Ooh, hey. White people like, oh, that nigga's funny. I like that boy. That boy funny, right? Or Mr. Rogers' Neighbor. Hello, white people. I'm about to go steal a car, right? And we thought, and the thing is that because we've misidentified who we are, we think that's funny too. Like like they're laughing at you. We think they're laughing with you. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you, right? They're laughing at us, and we're laughing as they're laughing. Like imagine a kid, a guy, you know, a misguided kid who maybe has a learning disability, right? Or a kid who's got, you know, Down syndrome or something like that, right? And he doesn't know when the other kids are making fun of him, so he's walking down the hallway and they put, you know, a banana peel on his head, and everybody starts laughing, ha ha ha, and he's like, ha 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 ha, yeah, Billy my friend, he laughing with me, we laugh together, right? Like that's what you are to some extent. Like you're the handicapped kid who with the banana peel on his head, and you think they're laughing with you, and they're actually laughing at you. They're looking at you, and they're basically paying you money to make fun of yourself, to make yourself look a little bit ridiculous, right? So the question that I would even ask if I was just sitting here just thinking and talking to, you know, the people that created shows like this is, what does black AF really mean, right? Like if you go to, what's that lady's name on Insecure, the one that falsely accused Dr. Myron Rolle of harassing her, Amanda Seales or whatever. Amanda Seales, you know, her black AF might be, I'm gonna wear my afro, I'm gonna use certain slang, I'm gonna embrace certain pop culture aspects of what white folks told me it means to be black, right? Like we get a lot of our cues of blackness from white-owned media. Very dangerous, black people, very dangerous, because then when somebody says, yeah, I'm gonna be black AF, you get out here acting like a goddamn fool. You know, seriously, some of y'all, when y'all think really is like acting black, a lot of us, I don't think, even know what it means to act black. Man, I had to think about it. I was like, what is acting black? And where's my brainwashing in the process? Because I'm affected by this too. You know, so I'm gonna say this. I think on the show, hit the thumbs up button. If you could, please hit that thumbs up button. Oh, and by the way, speaking of all this, I don't just critique what's going on with Black Hollywood. We're actually building a better version of Black Hollywood and supporting black filmmakers right in the community with something called Black Movie Night. So I hope you guys will come to Black Movie Night. We're going to watch The Melanin Code by Marcus Small. Is that his name? Is that his first name? Marcus. Yeah, Marcus Small. That's the director. And it's a great film. If you like films like Hidden Colors, that's what Melanin Code kind of fits that. So it's totally free to the community. Everybody can come. You can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. Somebody type blackmovienight.net in the chat, please. And use the hashtag blackmovienight because it's going to happen in a couple of days on the 23rd. So I hope you guys will come out to Black Movie Night. All right, so here's a couple things. Here's a couple more things that got my attention. I really have gained a discomfort with the frequency with which blackness is associated with things like hip hop and sports, right? I mean, if you throw in maybe hip hop, sports, and barbecue chicken, you kind of define like 70% of what a lot of people think it means to be black, you know? And so if you watch Black AF, if you like hip hop like I do, then it doesn't bother you on the surface, you know. Like I'm a hip hop fan, but there's a point where I'm kind of like, damn, does everything black have to be like some raunchy ass rapper? Like is that, you know? But now they throw in other types of blackness, you know. I think I saw everything from Barack Obama to Nelson Mandela and all this stuff, and I think that one of the things that's so interesting is just how much white people get to define what blackness means and what types of blackness we celebrate. Because even Martin Luther King was a product of white marketing, right? There's a reason white folks marketed Dr. King to you and won't even tell you that Marcus Garvey ever lived, right? There's a reason why they'll market Dr. King and civil rights movement first and foremost. Oh, they ain't got nothing to say about Malcolm, do they? They skipped that part of history class, right? Now, should you blame white folks for hiding, you know, those who have ideas that would liberate you and piss you off and make you actually stand up for yourself? No, you can't blame them. You can't blame them. I mean, it would be against their interest to introduce you to ideas that were presented by those who wanted to liberate, educate, and elevate black people. Like, why in the world would I, as a white man, ever want black people to know anything about Dr. Claude Anderson? If I was a white man and I was trying to maintain control over black people, shit, I might go have him whacked. I'd be like, man, you know, if that old man come up missing, you know, then ain't nobody going to ask too many questions. So, you know, we're going to do what we got to do, right? Seriously, like that Boyce Watkins, we need to make sure he's sleeping with the fishes. We don't want people like that out here. You know, give him some more Lizzo. Give him some more Lizzo, and give him some 2 Chainz and with the big booty hoe and all this other. Give him some of that, but don't give him nothing that's going to actually get these people to realize that we are bending them over and screwing them every single day of the week. Don't give them people that are going to encourage them to want to unify, work together, and actually build institutions that threaten our power and our supremacy. Don't give them anybody that's going to help them to realize the power that they have to actually develop institutions that compete with white folks. Because this space only has room for one master, and we can't have people controlling their own destiny when they're under the thumb of white supremacy. So I will say this. When I watched Black AF, you know, I saw there was one interesting scene where I think he had Tyler Perry in there. You know, again, white people paid him lots of money, so that technically makes him a successful black person. I saw Ava DuVernay, who I've heard Ava does a good job of really supporting women in film, which I think is a wonderful thing. I saw a man who looked like a lady. I don't know. It's from who I think they wrote The Chi. She had a hat. I think it was she had a hat on backward or something. I saw her. I saw Will Packer, who's made a lot of the Kevin Hart movies and stuff like that. Will Packer, I'm sure he's a very smart guy. But again, it's the formula is somewhat predictable, right? The funny little wascally wabbit black man, you know, Kevin Hart. You know, like white people like that. Like they like that beta male, scared black man imagery, which fits perfectly, right? If Kevin Hart presented as you know, an alpha male or leadership role, that would be tougher to get by. Even Will Smith, who's more of an alpha male, had to play that gay role before his career really took off, right? So we know what Hollywood's about, and it's fine. It's not even a criticism. I'm not even criticizing them. But one of the things I thought about was, I said, this is interesting. I'm watching all of them talk on a conference call, and I was just thinking about, like, what is it that sort of allows them to present themselves as, look, we are the shit. Like, we are the successful black people. Well, it comes down to validation from white folks. It comes down to white folks' money. It comes down to the fact that some white person somewhere in an office decided to give you $50 million, $100 million, and that elevates you above the masses, which allows, you know, you to be presented to the world as a quote unquote successful black person. Because I don't even know if we as black people really know what it means to be successful. And I'm not criticizing those individuals who are in that space. I don't think it's their fault. I think that this is stuff I've had to think about so much that I don't even think that they even realize half of the shit that I'm talking about. So I'm not criticizing them at all. But what I am saying is that you have people right in your own community, though. People in your own community who fight like hell for you. Who have given up the opportunity to sit on the throne in order to run with the masses, in order to be with their people, in order to fight for you on the ground floor. And I think that as a community, we might have to make a conscious effort to ensure that we say, yeah, it's very nice that you're getting your money over in white peopleville, but we got people right here in the hood that are taking good care of us. It's like a child who's got a parent who's wealthy and famous, and that parent calls them twice a year on birthdays and Christmases, and they say that's my dad. I love my dad. My dad is great. And then they got the mother, though. They got the mother who's at home, who ain't got no very much money. You know, she can't buy no fancy shit. She can't get you the $300 birthday gift, but she's there feeding you every single day. She's taking you to the doctor. She's staying up with you when you're sick. She was there with you from the moment you were born until you grew up and became a grown man. Who deserves to be honored the most, right? I say you have to take that time to make a conscious effort to honor that parent who's there putting up with your shit every single day of the week. But sometimes we get it twisted. We honor the person that appears to be the fantasy. Like, my dad is, in my mind, my dad is perfect because I only see him twice a year, and every time I see him, we're going to the movies and we're having fun and we're going to Disneyland and we're dancing in the kitchen and all that. My mom was the one who's making me do my homework, telling me I can't, you know, smoke weed in my bedroom with my homeboys. You know, she's telling me that I gotta, you know, clean my room and wash my clothes or whatever. But your mother's the one who builds you. Your mother's the one who, or the parent in the house. I'm not going to say just mothers because I don't want to generalize here, but it's the parent in the house that is shaping you, that is really ride or die for you, and that other parent is still kind of there for you in a different way, but they ain't put in the work. So sometimes that's what we do. We give more credit to the black folks that are elevated by white folks in white peopleville than we give to the black folks who are really in the trenches putting in the work. So I just personally think that we should make sure we take that time. And that's one of the things that drives me to do things like Black Movie Night, is because I know there are guys out here like Marcus Small and my boy Mark Harris and a few others, you know, Tierra KJ Williams and others who are really in the trenches, really doing the work, who are like, you know what, I got an opportunity to go be up on the pantheon of remarkable Negroes, but I chose not to because I didn't like what was going on up there, right? And I think that Kenya Barris is probably conflicted by that. Like any other successful black man, he's probably feeling a little bit mixed. That's probably why he went and did this you know, the Black AF project, because he's like, okay, I'm on Netflix now. Netflix allows black folks to be a little freer than, you know, Warner Brothers or wherever the fuck he was working at, right? Like Dave Chappelle. God bless Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle did that amazing stand-up skit where he stood up against all the political correctness nonsense that's going on in our society. So Netflix might be a little bit of a better ally, which I think is great. You know, so creating Black AF, I could tell in the script, I pay attention to what the writers write. I listen, I hear the voice of the writer by the words that come out of the mouths of the characters. Like, for example, when I watch a Tyler Perry movie, anybody who watches Tyler Perry movies is not surprised to hear that Tyler Perry writes the words of every character in that show, because they're not that diverse, unfortunately. God bless Tyler. Don't hate you, Tyler, but you got to get some black women in there helping you write characters for black women. How can one black man have 10 black women inside his body everybody and put them all out in a movie script where they're all interacting with each other. That's a little bit too much. That's a little bit weird, a little bit diva-ish, and a little bit selfish. So I'm going to challenge Tyler to get some black women writers in that writer's room so that he can allow them to share some of the spotlight that he's receiving himself. But I'm sure he's already thinking about that, so I'm going to assume he's going to do that anyway. But with that said, you know, I listen to what the writers are saying and what's coming out of the mouths of the characters to understand their psyche. Like when I saw Mark Harris's movie Black Coffee, I was sitting there with a friend of mine. I said, oh my God, I said I'd heard about the film. And I said, this guy, I said, whoever wrote this, I said, I bet you that they're I'm not gonna say a Boyce Watkins fan because that sounds kind of arrogant, but I said, I bet you they know who I am because they're saying stuff that only I say. Nobody ever say stuff like that. And I swear to God, I kid you not, I found out later that Mark said, yeah, I've been your Facebook friend for 2 or 3 years, and you never, I say stuff to you, but you never respond. And he lived 2 or 3 blocks away from me in Chicago, right? So you can see the mindset of the writer by what the characters say and what the characters do. The writer's value systems emerge from the lines that come out of the characters' mouths. So I'm listening to this, and what my feeling is with Kenya Barris and Black AF is that he's really like this guy who's like a lot of y'all. He's an elite version of what I call the frustrated black middle class. The frustrated black middle class. Here's what they typically look like. It's the Negro who maybe grew up in the hood, maybe grew up poor like Kenya did. I think he grew up in Inglewood. Love Inglewood. I was there a few months ago. God bless everybody in Inglewood. I love that place. And you go to high school, you make good grades in high school, then you go to college because you want to find a way out of the hood. So you go to college, you go to some white man's university, and you spend 4 years making good grades, and then maybe some white person gets you into USC film school, and then suddenly you get these great offers and opportunities that are bringing you into this what you think is this better world. But suddenly, instead of being surrounded by your own people, you're surrounded by different people that you don't understand, a bunch of white people, Jewish people, gay people that are gonna give you a big break. So then they give you a big opportunity, but the whole time you find yourself very frustrated because there are all these consistent microaggressions, which are like these little darts that they're just shooting into your body. There's a lot of stress and frustration. Then there's a lot of feeling like you maybe have to live a double life because you don't want them to find out how black you really are, right? Like you're scared. You're just scared to say certain things, scared to do certain things. I understand that because I'm in that group too. I mean, I got a PhD. There was no other African American that I've ever met anywhere who got a PhD in finance the year that I got it. So I was all by myself, surrounded by nothing but conservative white boys, right? So I know this life very, very well. So I feel like Black AF for him is like, I'm gonna be extra black. I'm gonna let it loose and let it rip. And I think that's cool. Like I think that's a great thing to do. And I told you guys, I think the show's a good show. Like it's entertaining. Like it's better than most of the stuff I watch on Netflix. And so, but here's what I want to propose. Here's what I want to pitch. And before I pitch this, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram friends in here, I see you. My Instagram's The Real Boyce Watkins. You can also follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. So if you're interested in financial stuff from a black perspective, you can follow the Black Financial Channel. And don't forget, we're doing Black Movie Night on the 23rd at 8 p.m. So you can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. I want to stop and take a second to mention that to you guys. Here's what I think we got to do, right? I couldn't figure out what it was about the show that kind of bothered me a little bit. I mentioned stuff about the hip hop and the raunchy hip hop and all that. Like I don't like the idea of our community being seen as sort of this extra raunchy, group of people who don't even give a shit about their kids to the point where, we'll have Cardi B rapping about sucking a penis to our 7-year-old. Like I just kind of feel like, given that was fed to us by white folks, because remember, hip-hop did not start out that way. Hip-hop started with Queen Latifah saying, who you calling a bitch? Remember that? U-N-I-T-Y. We went from who you calling a bitch to I ain't nothing but a bad bitch, and twerking. I'm a bad bitch, right? Like we take pride in calling ourselves bitches and hoes and niggas and all that stuff. And Frances Cress Welsing broke it down for y'all real clear that when you're constantly degrading yourself in that way, then you should expect that the rest of the world is going to degrade you. How can you demand to be respected, run around talking about Black Lives Matter when you're celebrating your own genocide, right? You're celebrating the destruction of your children. That don't make no sense. So we got to get past that. We have to figure out who the heck we are. The other thing too, this is about the, you know, the bougie chosen Negroes. Here's what I want to propose, right? I don't really want to get into a class warfare scenario where we're saying you're a bad person because Netflix gave you $100 million. I don't think that's right. I don't believe in hating rich people because they're wealthy. I think that we should congratulate them as long as they're not, you know, like hurting little children or something, you know, as long as you're not like stealing from old ladies or whatever. But here's what I think too. I could not figure out, I had to process this, and I said, why is it that we have these successful black people, you know, making $100 million, you know, from Netflix in these massive deals, and they're doing really well, right? You know, the house is laid, like the show's based on his life, you know, so he's living the life of a guy who signed a $100 million contract. God bless him for that. But why is there such a disconnect between the way they're living and the way the masses of black people are living, right? Why is it that you have individuals that are able to package and sell every aspect of black culture, from the booty or so-called black culture, right? From the booty shaking hip hop to hairstyles to you know, the barbecue, the family barbecue, whatever, all the things that we define as being part of our experience, the black experience, if you want to call it that. You know, they're profiting tremendously from selling that to Netflix. But yet that community from which they're taking all this cultural influence is not benefiting. I thought about this when I was invited to an Air Jordan party. The Jordan brand, I know the president of the Jordan brand, Larry Miller, who's a good brother, and I got invited to their party at the All-Star game. I don't go to parties. I'm not a partier. I don't really hang out in clubs. I don't really do none of that. Never did. Didn't even do it when I was 20, because Negroes get shot at clubs. I wasn't trying to go get shot. I wasn't trying to become an alcoholic. I was trying to be what I thought was a successful black man, whatever that meant. And but I was at this party, and check this out. So one thing I know about the Jordan brand is that most of their influence comes from the black community. Like they are able to influence the world because it is the black male in the hood who puts on those sneakers, and everybody copies what he does. So a lot of brands, a lot of fashion brands, you know, will sit there and you know, there are a ton of fashion brands out here that, you know, it started with the Kardashians. Anything the Kardashians do, where they just sit there and they will just watch what black people are doing, and then they'll package it and sell it to the world, right? Started with hip hop, and even before then, you know, it was, you know, you probably go back 70 years when that was true, right? But here's the issue. Here's what's interesting. When I went to this party, I'm walking through this party, and it's like laid, big money. It's a Michael Jordan thing, right? So you know it's gonna be the shit, right? I didn't see hardly any black people there. I saw black people there. Don't get me wrong. But the majority of the people there, they didn't look like us. They didn't look like us. And I said to Alicia, I said, ain't this some shit? Ain't this interesting? All these folks getting just crazy paid off of something that's driven by black culture, driven by, you know, poor black kids in the hood in the south side of Chicago, a few blocks away, and ain't none of those kids from the hood coming to this party unless they're 6'7" and happen to be wearing a Chicago Bulls uniform. Unless they're, you know, playing for the Utah Jazz or something like that. But like that regular kid in the hood, they don't even want him around, right? A lot of those folks don't want that guy around. So you know, in fact, I sat down and I just happened to be talking to some white guy. And he was a really arrogant white guy. So I'm like, oh, he must have done something important because he seems pretty cocky. So I asked him, I said, so what line of business are you in? I didn't tell him anything about what I did. That ain't his business. And he said, oh, I created the Beats by Dre headphones. I swear to God, he was a creator of the Beats by Dre headphones, which is, again, another example of when black culture drives a multi-billion, multi-trillion-dollar outcome, right? Dr. Dre is a billionaire now because he sold Compton culture to the world. You know, everything was Compton, chitty Compton. Now, the people of Compton, I believe, got a raw deal out of that. I think if you go to Compton, you will find some of the most wonderful people that you'll ever meet. You will find a community that is not much different from any other community out here. You'll find a lot of great people doing wonderful things. And that is in stark contrast to the brand, to the Compton brand that was created during the NWA regime, right? Completely different, you know. And so it made me kind of reflect on the fact that you unfortunately have a scenario because we don't expect much from our celebrities. You have a scenario where people are coming and grabbing the bag and not putting anything back, doing something that's very similar to what Asians do, Arabs do this, white folks do this with the Popeyes chicken and all that other shit. They'll come in your community, grab a bag, and bounce. And be like, okay, y'all, I got 100 million over here from white people now. Now that I done took my black culture and sold it, y'all, white folks done made me pay, and they're gonna make me famous. Because most of your black celebrities wouldn't be famous if white people weren't backing them, right? If white folks did not write a check or give a platform, they have nobody knows who they are, right? So here's what I think. I think that, and again, I believe that even they know this. I believe that when they start thinking about it, even they start to feel a little conflicted by it. And I think that's where shows like Black AF come from, honestly. I believe that. So here's what I think in terms of rules and guidelines that might help shrink the divide, right? Like why, you know, when you have these really successful black people, and then you have a bunch of black folks, the masses, who are just sitting at home admiring you because you have a show, but they sit at home, ain't got a job, can't pay the bills, can't hardly get by. I think that what has to occur is this. We need to stop creating these fucking Jackie Robinsons in our community. We need to stop creating Jackie Robinsons and start creating the Negro Leagues. Stop creating Jackie Robinsons and start creating the Negro Leagues. Now, what's the difference between a Jackie Robinson and the Negro League? Jackie Robinson was one Negro who got a good job. That's it. Who gives a fuck? Seriously. Black folks, I know you love symbolism. I know that symbolism is everything for you. Yeah, substance don't mean shit. Symbolism and feel good is what drives a lot of our people. And so Jackie Robinson, to some extent, was a wonderful symbol, kind of like, you know, Mother Teresa or the Pope, or I don't know, like the Nike swoosh or something, right? He was a symbol. Great. But how many jobs in the black community did Jackie Robinson create? You know, how much industry did he create? How much opportunity did he create in the black community from his success? Because I can tell you this. When y'all owned the Negro Leagues, when you were thinking like owners, everything had a multiplicative effect. Everything multiplied. That means that if I'm thinking like a boss, like an owner, if I'm thinking like a captain of industry, then that means that I get $100 million, but I could create $1 billion worth of value in my community because I'm right back there making investments. I'm right back there hiring black people. I'm right back there getting a syndicate together to buy the entire block and creating 400, 500, 600, 700 jobs in my old neighborhood. Like seriously, if Jay-Z really wants to rap about Marcy Projects, then I should be able to go to the Marcy Project and it should look like the most elaborate neighborhood ever, because there should be 5,000 people in Marcy Projects who say, yeah, I got a job because I work at Jigga Industries and I'm a senior manager at Jigga Industries and I make $200,000 a year, right? Now, I'm not trying to sit here and put too much weight on the celebrities, right? And I sure as hell ain't gonna put a lot of hope in the celebrities, because some of these celebrities just gone. Some of them just like might as well be white people, like they're just like black Klansmen, literally. But there are some that I think really care enough to hear what I'm saying, like to try to understand what I'm saying. Black success doesn't mean a whole lot if it doesn't create a lot more black success, and that goes deeper than just, you know, I got a job, I'm a senior vice president at Netflix, and I mentor 2 black people a year so they can also get jobs at Netflix. That don't mean shit. That's 2 damn jobs. That's 2 people that you basically are a high-paid... Scratch. Let me back up. I'm getting too radical here. I don't want to say high-paid slaves because I don't want to be mean. I want the message to be received. A lot of your most so-called successful black people ain't nothing but high-paid employees, man. That's what they are. They ain't bosses of shit. If white folks decided tomorrow to abandon their black asses, they wouldn't have a goddamn thing. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing me? So a lot of your most successful people are kind of like somebody's sidekick. That's what they are. They literally, like E40. E40 had a song a long time ago called They'll Find a New Nigga Next Year. And that's where a lot of your black celebrities are. If they get out of line, if they talk a little too much, get a little too black, they're going to get replaced by somebody else, and somebody else will have the job that they had, and you know, and whatever, and life will go on. I want to see something where it's a little more contagious, where success becomes more contagious. You know, instead of having 5 successful black people and 50 million or 30 million or whatever black folks just sitting there admiring their success, like, oh, they're so great, you're my hero, oh my God, this is so great. How about we expect those 5 successful black people to position themselves to create dozens and dozens and dozens of opportunities for the masses of individuals from the community that they're repping to actually build and create wealth. So what does that look like? Well, you might start with a basic expectation. Here's something I might throw out there. I just thought about it, you know. I think that for every $1 million a year that you make, okay, so you're a rapper, you're on the cover of Double XL magazine because you're making millions a year. Okay, for every $1 million you make, you should be able to show me 5 black people who pay all their bills because you're paying their salary. Show me 5 black people that you employ for every $1 million a year that you make. So if you make $10 million a year, I'm not gonna just congratulate you because you're making $10 million a year, because that's your money and the community gets nothing from that. You are not, one person does not the black community make. But if you can say I make $10 million a year and I have 50 black employees who are all living off of the $10 million I make because we're building industry together, then I say, okay, that's not Jackie Robinson, that's Negro Leagues. Because if you recall, Jackie Robinson was one dude who got a job. The Negro Leagues was an entire industry that employed thousands and thousands of people and created opportunities for dozens, if not hundreds, of businesses that were connected to the Negro Leagues. That's the difference. Your economic success needs to become more contagious than the coronavirus. Seriously, like the virus, the corona, we can talk about that all day. I'm not going to talk about that anymore because I know everybody's sort of got their different opinions about it. But seriously, your economic success needs to be contagious, and the whole team needs to be involved. If you want to know what I'm talking about, a lot of you were watching the Michael Jordan documentary, and one of the challenges that Michael Jordan had, one of the limitations he had, one of the weaknesses Jordan had that kept him from winning a championship was very simple. Bill Laimbeer, this real arrogant, annoying white dude who played for the Pistons, he's real mean, he's like a thug. They asked him, they said, who do you think is the greatest player in NBA history? He said, well, it ain't Michael Jordan, it's LeBron James. And they said, well, why would you say that? Michael won more championships. He said, no. He said, in all the years that we knocked the Bulls out of the playoffs, it was easy because Michael Jordan was a one-man show. He said, if you wanted to stop the Bulls, all you had to do was stop Michael Jordan. He said, now later on he figured out that in order to win championships, you got to get the whole team involved, and that's when he became difficult to beat. He said LeBron James learned that early. LeBron James knew that. If you go watch LeBron in high school, LeBron got his teammates involved, right? So ultimately, the same thing is true for the black community. You can't win championships if you don't get the whole team involved. The only way the black community is going to win championships is when we learn from lessons like in books like Powernomics that wealth and power is a team sport. So having one superstar, one high-paid Negro working at Netflix or working for some corporation or something, it's fun. It's wonderful to celebrate. We might all want to sit back and watch that person do great things while we're sitting here letting our lives pass us by. But that's not going to elevate the community. The black community is not elevated by 1 or 2 successful Negroes. They're just not. It just doesn't work. You know, the Bulls have that problem. They were like, every time Michael gets the ball, the other teammates just sit there and watch him play. And then guess what? When other teams figured out how to stop Jordan, they stopped the whole team. The Bulls couldn't win a championship when Michael Jordan was trying to do it by himself. But once he got his teammates involved, then they really became a force to be reckoned with. So black folks will become a force to be reckoned with economically, politically, and otherwise when we start to play team ball. And that means not just that the teammates got to step up. Y'all got to get over this I'm gonna worship you like Jesus kind of thing. This whole like Superman Negro-itis where you think one great Superman's gonna elevate everybody and carry everybody, and you're sitting there worshiping this person like they're the Pope. No, you are your own greatest black leader. You need to start being a black leader in your damn house. Start leading your damn kids. Be a captain of industry in your own damn house, so that when these individuals run up to you and they have an opportunity for you, you're ready to take advantage of the opportunity. But at the same time, the celebrities, the leading Negroes, the high-paid Negroes, the ones who got the $100 million deal at Netflix, the Michael Jordans of our community, the kings of symbolism, y'all need to pass the goddamn ball. Y'all need to pass the ball. Stop backing up. Watch me shoot a three, y'all. Watch me do this dunk. Ooh, look at me. I'll post around. Stop that. Pass the damn ball back to your community. Because your community is where your power base is. And also, your community are the people, those are the people who gave you the cultural capital that you can then go sell to a Netflix and go make $100 million. So, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, you do owe a tax. It is a tax, a big tax. It's a tax that the Jewish community takes out of your ass if you don't pay it. It's a tax that the Asian community will take out of your ass if you don't pay it. It's a tax that the Arab community will take out of your ass if you don't pay it. So black folks need to understand that when these people grab your culture, bag it up, package it up real nicely, market it and sell it at a pitch meeting, they owe a tax. And you know who really got that before anybody else? Honestly, it was the Crips and the Bloods. The Crips and the Bloods noticed very early in hip-hop the brand value that comes from telling, from rapping to your audience that you're gang affiliated. When you run around, you carrying around the red flag or the blue flag, and you're using, Crip blood language and terminology, and you Crip walking on stage and all that, well, guess what? If you go to town and they know that you're using their brand, or you're even labeling some association with one of their leaders as a way to sell records, then they expect you to pay. Now, people think that's mean. People think, oh, that ain't right. That's his money. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. There are probably 10,000 cases in federal court right now of people that use other people's brand value to make money and had to pay up. That's copyright infringement or whatever the fuck you want, trademark violations, anything you want to call it. So at the end of the day, black folks, I believe, have been victims of extensive amounts of copyright infringement and trademark violations where people are taking the brand of blackness, marketing it around the world, getting a $100 million check, and feeling like they don't owe the community nothing. And the interesting thing is that you're completely complicit in all of that. It ain't just their fault. It ain't just their fault. And maybe they're taking it because they don't even know any better. Maybe they never thought about that. Well, now you have something to think about. Now you have something to process. So again, I think the standard should be very basic. We can start there. For every $1 million that you make per year, you should be able to point to 5 black people who are able to live off the money that you pay them with your $1 million. And it ain't even got to be like a big salary. It could be, $50,000, $40,000, $30,000, whatever. Just something to show that somebody is able to at least pay their rent off of the money that you pay them. So when you tell me that you're on the cover of Forbes because you made $20 million, I'm going to do the black tax calculation in my head and say, okay, so if you made $20 million last year, then you should, or Drake. I use Drake as an example because Drake actually went out and bought a $187 million jet and was bragging about how he's proud to buy Canadian. And I'm like, well, the Canadians didn't give you all the cultural leverage necessary for you to sell 10 million records. So why the fuck why are you repping Canada? What did Canada do to make you into the international superstar that you are. Last time I saw every video, you dancing with black people, you around black folks, you using our image in order to make all that money. So I need to hear another public statement where you say that you bought $187 million worth of black products because it's very important for you to buy black, because that's the culture that gave you everything that you have. So $20 million a year means, what's 5 times 20? It's 100 people. There should be 100 people who can say, I can vouch they're paying their black tax because they're taking, I'm employed with their company. Now, if you play it right, it's not charity though. It's not giving money away. The black community is not a charity case. There are very talented black people out here that can really help you excel your business to the next level. There are black folks out here that can be your accountant, your lawyer, your manager, all kinds of stuff, and do a great job to the point where maybe you're making $20 million a year, but because you've got 100 people helping you now you're making $80 million a year. So don't think of the black community as charity. The black community is the greatest investment ever. Your community is a wonderful investment, and the reason this investment matters is because that's how you can connect the 1 or 2 successful Negroes back to the elevation of the entire community. There should not be anybody out here talking about I make $50 million a year where their old neighborhood is complete garbage. Because if you make $50 million a year, you could have put together a syndicate of other black investors and went back and bought every damn house in that neighborhood and turned it into whatever you needed it to be. And it ain't even got to be on no socialism type stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you got to go in there on, and build just community centers and playgrounds. You should do some of that. But I'm talking about go back there and build a damn factory. Put those people to work. Create, build a school, build something that's going to allow you to actually get a return on your investment. There are real life examples of that. If you look at Kenny Gamble lived in Philadelphia. He grew up in one of the worst neighborhoods in Philly. When he started getting deals to write songs, Gamble and Huff was one of the most prolific songwriting duos in history. They wrote more songs than damn near anybody in music history. And when he started getting that big money, first thing Kenny started doing was going back to his old neighborhood and buying up every single house he could get his hands on. And to this day, Kenny owns millions of dollars of extremely relevant property within the Philadelphia area. I'm talking about property that white folks are trying to gentrify, which is only going to make Kenny's pockets get bigger. He bought the neighborhoods that nobody else wanted, so it doesn't make any sense. I mean, gentrification should be a mark of shame on our community, because with all these damn black celebrities that we so proud of, how is it that you were sitting on this very low priced property back in the 1970s and 1960s and 1980s that nobody wanted, and now you mad because white folks done came in and bought it for themselves? You sitting there with some lakefront damn property that where none of the houses cost very much money because black folks live there, and then as soon as white folks come in and clean it up and build a Whole Foods and a Starbucks and a dog park across the street, you want to get mad. Well, I'm sorry, but the hardest hustler gets the biggest reward. So where were you? You were asleep during that time. Maybe you were partying. Maybe you were learning all the booty dances. I don't know what you were doing, but I know that they were planning on building a power play for their community. Where's your power play, black people? What is your next move? What are you going to do? That's all I say. That's all I got to say on this. I'm going to make sure it's 100% abundantly clear that I think the show is good. I don't want, sometimes I get passionate and I talk about things and I say what's on my mind and I mean every word of it. I don't apologize for shit, but I don't want you to think that I don't like the show. I will just say, even those who don't like it, I respect that, but I'm gonna say sometimes the things I just let go. I think the show's better. The good outweighs the bad. So I like the show. I think you'll like it too. Maybe you won't, but either way, I think that all those points apply. And I think that when you talk about what it means to be black AF, we got to really think carefully about what that means. And at the very least, stop letting white folks tell you what that's supposed to mean. And stop letting people tell you that being black AF is a shallow idea. It's not a shallow idea. It's about building strength in your community. And you got to be bringing your people along. If you ain't bringing your people along, then you ain't done nothing. That's it. All right, guys. So do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button before you go. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Also, we have Black Movie Night, where we're going to support black filmmakers. We're going to watch The Melanin Code with Marcus Small on April 23rd at 8 p.m. So you can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. It's totally free to the community. Also, a lot of you asked me to do another masterclass, so I'm going to do another Financial Juneteenth Investing Masterclass. If you'd like to take a look at it, feel free to go to drboycemasterclass.com. We start on May 6th. That's when I'm going to do the next cohort. After that, I'll shut it down. I'm only going to do a couple this year. So you can go to drboycemasterclass.com if you want to check out the masterclass on investing. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Please take care. Have a great day. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.